The global digital money transfer service WorldRemit is partnered with the First Bank of Nigeria. This deal will allow WorldRemit clients in over 50 countries around the world to send money to some 14 million First Bank accounts directly from their phones. Now, with a diaspora population of over 15 million people, remittances do play an increasingly important role in Nigeria's economy. Here's CGTN's Deji Badmus now speaking to the regional head of WorldRemit, Andrew Stewart, shortly after the deal was signed.
Progress has been excellent. We're making significant inroads. We're in extensive discussions with a number of different partners in Egypt, be it banks, mobile operators and other financial fintech organizations, financial services, but digital financial services organizations. So watch out for the space over the next few months, in fact weeks. We should be announcing a number of new partnerships in Egypt. And we'll continue to invest. In fact, we invest in people. So we're in the process of setting up and establishing an office in Cairo. In fact, we've just appointed a new country director for Egypt, and he will also be responsible for North Africa. So great inroads. Watch this space, but we also invest in elsewhere. So we invest in outside of Egypt. We invest in places like Nigeria, and we invest in across the continent.
And let's quickly talk about Nigeria now. I mean, you know, Nigerians abroad sent back about $22 billion. That's something very huge, and that's according to data now compiled by the World Bank. I mean, from what you have seen so far, what do you think is driving this flow of remittances now to Nigeria?
I sum up, simply put, there's 15 million Nigerians living abroad, working in and living, and they continue to send money back home to family, to friends, to relatives, to support to support family. So they're sending money back home for education, they're sending money back home for medical expenses, and in cases for just living expenses. So I think until such time Nigerians don't live abroad, remittance will continue to flow into the country.
And how's your organization, WorldRemit, now leveraging on that?
We are a digital mobile-first organization, so we are leveraging all digital channels globally to attract and target those 15 million that are living abroad. So really the focus is some of the key corridors like the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, and that's really the focus. So if you look at our top 5 send countries, those are the ones that we're focusing on.
Let's talk on the average now. It's still quite expensive to send money into sub-Saharan Africa, and that's a great worry, with the cost coming down to around 9.4% or so of the amount sent. Now, since Nigeria is the biggest in terms of remittances now coming into Africa as a whole, why is it so expensive, for instance, for remittances to be sent into Nigeria?
So I agree, the costs are too high. As you rightly quoted, the World Bank study is about 9.4, 9.7%. The reality is it's expensive because the traditional players, the offline players, have large fixed costs. They have bricks and mortar, they have people, they have agents, and that inherently drives up the costs of the remittance. So digital players like ourselves, we don't have that investment. Ours is 100% online, 100% digital, so we don't have that inherent fixed base cost. So we can afford to bring down the costs. So on average, if you look at a transaction of $100 coming from the US to Nigeria, we're charging around $3.99. And if you compare to some of the competitors, they're charging about $11. So we well in excess of half of that average price.
Over the last 4 years or so, we've seen banks handling remittances now, remittances businesses, or avoiding it altogether. Since then, we've seen tech like blockchain move from just being esoteric ideas now into real-world solutions for a range of problems. Can it help firms like yours now deal with the de-risking problem while making transfers more efficient?
Yeah, I think this might sound like a very common response from players when you ask about cryptocurrency or Bitcoin. I think the answer is yes. WorldRemit is exploring. We're in dialogue with multiple players. But my guess and my feeling is that short term, what it might do is help us almost replace the correspondent banking relationship, replace SWIFT and EFT, where we can actually move value through tokenization or through crypto, but it more on this institutional leg. So how we fund some of our partners, and then obviously the key thing there is how do you actually take out the value to give to the end user, and I think that's a little bit more in the future.